encoding is overloaded on a simple screen. A screen that doesn't move. Nice. Welcome, everyone.
I like it.
I'm to the hero. This is Pink. We're here.
We're here.
And this is the Shut Your Mouth Lounge, episode 208, I believe.
That sounds right to me.
All right. So, Pink, is anything coming out on your channel?
Of course there is. As usual, there's always going to be a lot of Dead by Daylight coming out on that channel, as well as the Civilization 6 Spain playthrough that I'm going to be doing, or not going to be doing, am currently doing, as well as probably something else Civ-related in the future. I don't know. I want to do concurrent playthroughs in that, but we'll see if that happens, or if I have time to do that this week anyway. So yeah, the typical stuff.
All right. But as for me, it's also the typical stuff. Nothing.
I like it.
And then I was going to ask Alex, but he's not here.
What a coward.
Jeff Keighley was too powerful. That's all we'll
Who's
say.
that?
The guy who hosts the Game Awards.
Oh.
So, on the group channel, we have that one time I remembered to buy the TV finally. This is the last of Persona 5 for now.
For now.
Then on Tuesday, I think, we have Terraria, the one revisit we did recently, where like W wanted to do a boss rush, so we did a boss rush, and then they announced that there's gonna be a new boss.
Like the very next day.
Yeah. And then on Friday, oh wait, actually no, I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Let me check the calendar. Am I or am I not wrong? So, okay, so starting next Friday, every day is Ratchet and Clank Day until Christmas.
All right.
I believe. Yeah, seems like it.
Good deal. All the kids like the Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, it's definitely not scheduled like this because if I didn't schedule it like this, then it would have ran like throughout the start of next year as well. But yeah, that's it. Hey.
Hey.
Is anything coming out on your channel?
There may be. I don't know. I'm kind of just winging it until Warhammer 3's release.
All right. Then, Pink, what have you done this week?
What have I done this week? I actually this week. What's up?
Did you talk about what's coming out on the group channel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
You joined at the end of that.
Okay.
You've not missed much, but we did get through all the what's coming out this week stuff done.
All right.
So we're good to move on to what did I do this week? And oh boy, I watched for the very first time in like 15 years, and I have no recollection of how old I am anyway. But let's skip that part. What's it called? I'm scrambling for the name. It's stupid Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way. So that movie is dumb.
Yeah, yeah.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge.
I don't remember if it was yeah, it was definitely soon. Soon arguing with Ted like last week. No, Jingle All the Way is a great movie, and Ted going, "It's a shit movie." I mean, I interjected for a good reason. It's a shit movie, and that's why it's a great movie.
Right? Yep. That's really the only way anybody could possibly enjoy that movie. Because oh boy, oh man, that's just a terrible movie. Up and down. There's like what are the redeeming qualities? Arnold. And
Arnold.
And
Well, Arnold, Sinbad, Phil Hartman.
Right? And then the rest of the movie just kind of happens.
Yeah, it's a movie that tries to have a plot, but like nothing ever. Like it's almost kind of like seems like one of those comedies where it's like meaningless and things just happen for reasons. Like for instance, a Mel Brooks comedy for the most part, but like the movie takes itself a little too seriously to seem like it could really fit into with those movies, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, like goofy cartoon comic bullshit happens to Arnold throughout the movie, but it's not so like illogical that it just seems like it's stream of consciousness insanity. It seems like it's still trying to retain some sanity, which makes it stranger than that the plot doesn't really follow any guidelines other than just here's another scene where Arnold goes and gets into more shenanigans looking for the toy.
Right? It feels like it was a movie that had at least 12 different directors on it at very different times during the shoot. And then they just cobbled it all together and said, hey, here's a movie. Every scene had a different director, but that's okay. We're gonna patch it up. The editors are amazing these days.
Oh man, it's it's a delightful movie. Is do you have anything else to say about it?
No, I think I covered it. I like the
Oh,
Big
all
Show
right.
cameo. He's pretty great.
Yeah, it's well, the more important part, I guess, is the combination of Big Show and Vern Troyer, right?
Right. But I don't even know Vern Troyer from anything.
Well, he's also in Austin Powers.
I've seen Austin Powers once, definitely. Maybe.
Well, did you watch the first one or the other ones?
Heck if I know. Probably the first one.
Okay, Vern Troyer was not in that one.
So I don't know if I know anything.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah. I like a good Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Granted, that's not a good Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, but it's got Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's good enough for me, I suppose.
It's got all of the
What else?
it's got all of the parts of a good Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger and a movie.
Yeah. What more could anybody possibly ask for? What else did I watch this week? I watched Toy Story, but that's not really a Christmas movie unless you watch the last 90 seconds of it. Boy, honestly, I don't think that movie has aged well at all. It's rough. It's rough, buddy.
Hang on, I'm sorry. What movie did you say is aged poorly?
Toy Story.
Citizen Kane.
Okay.
Citizen Kane. Oh yeah, that movie sucks ass. I don't get the appeal.
I think the original story appeal of Toy Story 1 still works, but yes, the CG has aged terribly in that movie.
It's nasty. It's nasty,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Well, the worst aged Pixar CG is definitely like. Have you watched any of the shorts?
Yeah, the Tin Toy. That's a monstrosity.
Tin Toy. My God, the baby in Tin Toy is terrifying.
Is it the advertisement to Stranded Deep? That's Stranded Deep. That's
I don't
Stranding.
know, but let me get a picture for you. Hang on.
Yeah, I wouldn't know those shorts because I only ever watched Toy Story 2, I think. Well, I think I watched Toy Story 3, but I'd rather not remember Toy Story 3.
Here's a picture of the baby.
Ah, Fetus of God.
Yeah. Oh, here's the perfect gift for it.
Wait, why is it? Okay, is that
Oh,
is that
man.
is that an issue of the GIF, or is it in the actual short? Is the baby's like mass forming as it walks?
This is a good question, and I have no idea how to answer it.
Like why does it
That's
get like
just an issue of the animation.
okay? Because it's like I couldn't figure out why it would get a Harvey Dent in the side of its head.
That's a demonic fucking baby.
That's the best he had in 2000. It's
There's a
fine.
lyric
That's all we
There's
had in
only-
2000.
that was way before 2000. I think that was like 93 or 94 when they made.
Oh yeah,
Toy.
94.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Toy was
because
pissed.
Toy Story was 94, so it would have been 92.
Okay, so do y'all this good quality CG just reminded me? Do y'all want to do a let's watch of a Christmas movie? Because there's a Christmas movie that was lost media for a while, and I think it may be copyright free called Rhapsody Street Kids, and it's great.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I think I must pass.
You know, there's a lyric in the song "Why Is Everybody Always Picking on Me" by the Bloodhound Gang, or at some point they're singing about an ugly baby, and at one point the lyric is, "You need to put that thing in the oven and back in the oven until it is done cooking."
Nice. I'm gonna get a thing of the Rhapsody Street Kids, so y'all see what I'm talking about. It has like Ariel's voice in it, and Mark Hamill, and people like that. It's like actual name brand people.
Name
And-
brand people.
Yes. None of these shitty great value people.
Only the
That-
cream of the crop.
There you go. That's how the movie looks.
Oh lordy.
This movie came out in 2002.
Oh lordy.
Great.
That reminds me of Reboot.
But yes, but Reboot was one of the first animated features, wasn't it? And then there's
Yeah.
this. But like
Yeah.
one of the first 3D animated rather, but yeah. And there's also like there's also other great parts, like how there's a grandma character, and something fucked up with her lines. I forget exactly what happened, but she speaks in gibberish aside from the word Christmas. It's great.
Are they trying to make her look like an old Romani witch?
I don't know.
Why is the sky turned to hell?
Why not?
Anyways. Yo, Pink, I just saw something. I wanted to hear if you could vouch for it or not. Apparently, Grant Morrison talked in an interview about his most recent run on Superman. He only did to stop Danny DiDio from doing something really stupid with Superman.
What?
Apparently, Grant Morrison is saying that last run he had with Superman, he didn't want to do another run with Superman. But Dan DiDio was going to have a run where Superman turns into a super right-wing authoritarian and leads a new team called the Authority.
Which is definitely not just
Grant-
injustice.
And Grant Morrison was like said, "Do not do that." And Dan DiDio, I guess, was like, "Well, if I won't do this, then you do it." And it's like, "Well, fuck, okay."
Now I'm obligated to save the legacy of Superman.
Yeah. Like, on one hand, the only evidence I'm seeing is somebody quoting Grant Morrison here. On the other hand, I totally believe Dan DiDio would think that's a good idea. All right. Yeah, what else did you do your week, Pink?
What else have I done this week? Hmm. outside of those two things, I played a lot of Smite. Well, not a lot of Smite, just a little bit of Smite every now and again. Dead by Daylight with Mike, and I did the Smite with Addy. Let's see. I played a little bit more of the Pokemans, and I think I overleveled my team to a very significant degree because I'm having a super, super, super easy time with it.
That's alright.
And
Just go to the gyms where you have a type weakness, and then still kill them in two hits.
yeah. Let's see. Outside of that, I could swear there's something else I did this week that was kind of noteworthy, but my mind draws a blank. So I believe that wraps things up for me on this end. Just a couple of movies, a little bit of the Pokemon, and then the video games I played with you guys and Mike, who's not present.
As far as you know.
As far as I'm aware, he might be creeping in the Discord, but that would surprise me because he doesn't know how to operate Discord.
All right. Eddie, what you done with your past week?
So, I also watched a movie, but it wasn't a Christmas one.
Okay.
My family wanted to revisit because we've seen it before. Superhero movie.
Oh,
The parody?
Yes.
didn't you already rewatch that movie just a couple months ago?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think the last time we collectively saw it was years ago, and I don't go out of my way to watch that movie alone.
Nah.
And it's like it was weird watching it again because a lot of the actual like jokes that were supposed to be jokes fell flat, but a lot of the, I guess, like slapstick humor or whatever, like the actual like things that are happening on screen still had some humor to them, even if the things that were being said were not funny. Sometimes.
If the brothers behind that stuff do know one thing, they at least know that generally speaking, you should shoot for rapid fire jokes rather than just have like. Whereas like nowadays, most of the comedy stuff from the stoner dipshits that we have nowadays are like, let's make one joke and have it be the entire scene for 6 minutes. That way, if it's not funny, it just drags on and on.
Yeah. I mean, there was still one joke or like one scene that was not funny and it dragged on a bit, but like that's saying that it dragged on. No, there were two scenes like that, but that's saying that it dragged on compared to the rest of the movie. Where like that would have been a fast joke for modern comedies, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And it was also weird to see, just like because like I look at that movie and I'm like, oh shit, so this is why this is why I'm not funny. Because the way I construct jokes is just freaking like the way I construct jokes is just trying to do the on screen gags of Leslie Nielsen, but in words, pretty much.
My characters commit suicide in funny ways.
You cut out.
I said I just have my characters commit suicide in funny ways.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I'm referring to is that a lot of my comedy or like a lot of my what is intended to be like funny from me comes from just like suggesting very absurd things. So
yeah,
and that is very much basically what like Naked Gun boils down to. It's just absurd things happening on screen, and then Leslie Nielsen doesn't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's a movie where like obviously it's not good, but I feel like the how bad it is overblown. At least it didn't end with a freaking like it's the best praise I can give to superhero movie is that it didn't end or end on a song of all of the all of the cast telling you to fuck them, like in a disaster movie.
At least that didn't happen.
Like that's the freaking. That's how that movie ends, and that's burnt into my freaking my brain, because like I remember that they made a big deal about like freaking Po from Kung Fu Panda having 4 balls for
See,
some reason.
that's the change when those guys started doing it. Started to just be, here's a reference to a thing you know.
Yeah.
Thing you know. Did you clap? I clapped when I saw it. Naked Gun didn't rely on references, nor did Airplane movie.
Yeah.
Or Airplane. Just regular Airplane. No movie at the end. They didn't need it for that one. It was just Airplane.
Yeah. The first couple scary movies were also fine. And then and then the season of Ross hit, pretty much.
Do those still make movies?
I don't know. I was going to say I don't think so, but then like I haven't really kept up. Like that's the thing. Like most of the stuff I watched, the actual movies I watched, were like either instructional videos or comedies. So those are where my freaking where my expertise are. And like comedies just started shifting towards stoner stuff, I guess, and I just didn't care. So I don't watch movies. Like that's a weird thing that I have, where like if I want the drama, I'll read a book. I don't know.
Understandable.
But yeah.
Okay, hang on. The Zucker Brothers. It looks like the Zucker Brothers haven't really done anything since the last scary movie. Yeah.
I guess. I was going to say, I guess good on them for not overstaying their welcome, but that's kind of why they stopped making movies, because they overstayed their welcome.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if they tried again now, but at the same time, like I don't know how if they improved since then. Like I don't know how much better it could be, more or less. Like, but instead of fucking, I don't even know. Like they having chipmunks, it would be emoji and minions.
Maybe. Well, I mean, the thing is, there's a considerable span of time between Airplane and the first Naked Gun, right? Because Airplane was 80, and then Naked Gun was what, late 80s, early 90s?
I don't know.
Well, I guess the first thing I need to look up is, let's see. I'm trying to look up. The first Naked Gun was 88. Now, let's see. Yeah, in between Airplane and Naked Gun, Jerry Zucker only wrote and directed Top Secret and Ruthless People, neither of which I have remembered hearing about.
Me neither.
Oh, they were writing and directing Police Squad. That's what they were doing in between Airplane and Naked Gun. Which, of course, Police Squad then led into Naked Gun.
Ah.
Because I believe that was Leslie Nielsen's character from Police Squad was Frank Drebin, and he was just so popular, and the Police Squad show got canceled, so they're like, fuck it, let's just give Leslie his own movie.
Ah. Nice.
Because the first Naked Gun is subtitled From the Stories of Police Squad.
They removed that subtitle over here, I think.
Well, the Police Squad TV show might not have made it over there, so it wouldn't have had any meaning over there.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Anything else?
Well, I also played through Lego DC Supervillains, I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those do not seem like your kinds of games.
I loved Lego Star Wars 2. That's the only one, but I loved Lego Star Wars 2.
You cite one game.
Yeah, funnily enough, I don't like the Lego. I don't particularly like the Lego games, and I'm teetering on actually like actively disliking Star Wars at this point. I like Lego Star Wars too. But yeah, freaking, I don't even know what like. There were some improvements that I saw that were nice. There were like a lot of it feels the same as Lego Star Wars 2, which is kind of like, on one hand, I understand why, because it's kind of a wrestling game thing where instead of actually making a new game, they just take the old game and then just do a texture flip, and then they add a couple of things here and there to make it nice and shiny, and then they shove it out for $60.
I do not think the Lego games come out for $60, do they?
They do, at least over here. Like if the Lego games were like fucking $30 or $20, then they would be alright for the price. But for $60, they're a bit too overpriced, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And one of the big changes that they made between those two games, I don't remember which one introduced it, is that they now have voice actors, like actual voice lines.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a smart change.
Yeah, I vastly preferred the grunts of the old days.
Yeah, I don't like it either, because it just feels like they're like. I guess the big thing is that, like, with the grunts, it was just it was kiddie bullshit, but like the game knew with actually trying to do like a storyline and all that. It feels like the game is trying to be more than it knows it is.
Yeah.
And like if you introduce an actual storyline, then if you introduce an explicit storyline that where with people speaking, then you also need to justify inclusions in the game, which is also harder. Because in Star Wars, it was just, oh, this guy showed up, so I guess you can buy him as a playable character. Like, the freaking whatchamacallit, I forget their name, the big people that Luke fights sometime.
Yeah. I'm forgetting their name, but yes, the Gamorreans, I think.
It's something like that. Like they're playable in Lego Star Wars 2, if I remember correctly, and that's because they show up in a stage. That's it.
Yeah.
And in Lego DC Supervillains, instead it's you get all of the, or you get most, if not all of the characters that are in the main story, and then you also have a fuck ton of side missions, because we're open world now for some reason.
Nah.
I didn't like that. Like it's a change. Like it is a substantial change from what used to be the formula. So I appreciate it. On the other hand, after finishing the story, I immediately made a character that has super speed and can fly, so I can negate the change. Because traveling around their open world felt a bit like clunky is the best way I can put it, but like I guess sluggish. And the cars didn't handle particularly well. And
yeah,
just moving around normally would have, or on foot, would have taken way too long.
Yeah.
And then what else?
I gotta say, Discord's noise sound canceling is eating a lot of what I'm saying.
Nice.
Well, how dare they?
I think you can adjust it.
Probably, but I think it's there for a reason. I think it's just doing it because, for one thing, I've got a fan running in the background, and partly because my microphone is at chest level.
Yeah.
Then what else was I going to point out about the game? It felt like they cheaped out with making the villains the good guys. Like, I get why they did it.
It is for kids. It is for kids. Keep in mind.
Yeah, I know, but it just like, I don't know. It feels like every time kids IP has to do something like this. Then they do the thing of like, the bigger, better villain forces the two to work together. But it wasn't even that this time. It was just, we just removed the heroes, so the villains have to be the heroes.
Yeah, that sounds entirely fair. It's a kids game, Addy. You
I mean, I don't know, because to me, like, I was interested in how Lego would have handled an actual villain game where you like I was interested in how they could have made some of the things like make sense. Like it would have been interesting to freaking like if they made you play as the Joker and have you pull pranks instead of killing people, you know?
I mean, like, it's still a Lego game, man. People expect it to behave by certain formulas and go through story missions and, so on and so forth.
I suppose. Now there's one thing that is actually a big issue of the game is just how fucking buggy it is. It's not even buggy, but kind of buggy. I don't even know what to call it. But basically, you can advance through the menu at a speed at which it doesn't function. Like you have to wait on the menu to catch up to you every time you do anything. Which
I don't think that's a bug. I think that's just the way the menus in Lego games work.
Probably.
but that still sucks because no kid is going to just like wait around.
Absolutely not.
Like for
No,
example,
but they just have like the menus look real cutesy is what they're trying to do, I think.
I mean, I guess I don't know, because it was just like it was just like case files and stuff like that for the created characters. Which you have to create a character to play through the game. So I made the best DC villain, the Lizard from Spider-Man. Because why not? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and creating a character was a pain in the ass because you go into a menu like there's a lot of menus, so I give them credit for actually like including every single, like not every single, but like most ways that you could actually customize or Lego piece, and even more technically because you can also change the printing on them and stuff like that. At the same
Yeah.
time, if I like, it's a thing of like you go into like, say you want to change your expression, so you go into the face tab, then you go into the expressions tab, and then you choose to make your custom expression or whatever, custom face, and then after that it loads up all of the faces that you can choose from. So you go and hover over one of them. You have to click on them or whatever. You have to choose them for it to change the model, which it's fine. So you press to change the model, the thing flips, and then you'd assume, oh well, okay, the model is still loading, but I can probably quit the menu, or go back one thing, and it will be fine. But it's not, because if you just click on the thing and don't wait for the menu to load or whatever, the model to load, then it doesn't apply the change, which would be understandable if the model didn't refuse to load sometimes. So it's just a whole thing of like, I wish they made things more snappy, or at least on that part, because kids won't wait, or at least the kids won't like waiting.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from that, it's probably the best PS Plus game they gave away this month.
Eh.
I mean, it's the one PS Plus game that I actually like played through. So, because the other PS Plus games, which I have also played, are Mortal Shell and Godfall, something or other. I forget if it has a subtitle. And Mortal Shell is Dark Souls with a lot of added loading, from what I can tell. It just really wants to be Dark Souls, but it doesn't quite look the part. Like I don't think it's quite up to snuff with the fidelity of Dark Souls, which says a lot. When Dark Souls runs at 30 frames a second, and Mortal Shell feels like it's running at 25, but And there's just so many things that I could point out about just the graphics of Mortal Shell, which like the art style is okay. It's very Soulsian, but it does have its own like its own thing. You know, it's not just grim dark fantasy, generic fantasy stuff that Dark Souls is going for. It has more cocoon shit because shells. But like when I can see the checkerboarding on the player model when it's moving to achieve a resolution that's I don't even know what the resolution the game is supposed to be running at is. But like when I can see noticeable checkerboarding on the player model as it's moving, and the game is running at 25 frames a second, I start to question things. Like I'm not even a big stickler about graphics because I just fucking play whatever. Like, if a game has good enough gameplay and story and stuff like that, then it will make up for the graphics for me, and I just won't care for the graphics. If I cared about the graphics, I wouldn't play Sengoku Basara. Pretty much. But like, you know, there's a bit like if it's not gonna look good, at least run good.
That would be nice.
And then it just also felt like a bit more sluggish than what I expect from Souls. Like that at the same time you have to consider like my comparison for Souls is just like my limited experience with Bloodborne, and then comparing that to like Neo. So I may be off there, but at the same time, like it just felt closer to Lord of the Fallen speeds than normal Souls stuff, and that could be justified, I suppose, with the shell mechanic if it didn't feel completely unwieldy, which is a subjective thing, but you know, like one of the things that I read about Mortal Shell, it wasn't recently. I read it a while back. But apparently, one of the things you should do is that once you get your first shell, you should immediately go and find a replacement because it's bad.
Okay.
They may be right. I didn't find a replacement shell, but they may be right. And it's just like, you know, it's pretty much like my opinions on Mortal Shell, or if I want to play a Souls like, which is not likely, I'm not gonna buy Dark Souls at this point.
Nah.
Like I just don't care about all of these Souls likes.
There's definitely going to be a thing of like, there's a lot to Dark Souls that you want to copy because it made the money and it made the headlines and so on. But like at the same time, there's a lot about Dark Souls that's like someone may go in and entirely misinterpret things, right?
Yeah.
Because Dark Souls 2 is the only game in the Dark Souls series that was intentionally designed to be difficult. Dark Souls 2 is the game in the series where the difficulty is the least fun.
Yeah, it seems a bit like that. Mortal Shell, that is. Like it's one of those things where like I could learn how to use the becoming a shell or whatever, like, you know, because how it works is you have a parry, and then instead of a block, you can cancel your animations by turning to stone. But turning to stone has its startup, and if you turn into stone, then you can only block one hit. So you're supposed to mix up parrying and turning to stone, I suppose, in a fight to use it for actual like effective results. And I could learn how to use it effectively, or I could just play a game that I like. Like that's pretty much it for me.
It's a good argument.
Like I acknowledge that part of why I dislike Mortal Shell as it is right now, or you know, I suppose, what is a better way to put that? I suppose I dislike Mortal Shell right now. Yeah, that works. It is partially just because I'm not familiar with its specific mechanics and stuff like that. But like, I'm just fucking tired of all of this like slow stamina bullshit. But speaking of slow stamina bullshit, Godfall is not that actually. Maybe. I don't know. So Godfall is Gearbox's third person what's the game? Shit. Destiny. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's something that you wouldn't expect. So remember how God of War copied Dark Souls and then got its fighting system, which is in Dark Souls really, but you can see so you can see the similarities.
Yes.
Godfall is that to God of War.
Oh.
So you have the same freaking like GTA 3 movement. You have very similar controls overall, but then wait, no, actually it may just be a 1-to-1 copy because abilities were on. Yeah, I think it may just be a 1-to-1 copy because weren't abilities on like on one of the triggers and then a face button.
In order to use the runic moves, you held down the block button, which was L1, and then pressed one of the right shoulder buttons, either the trigger or the regular shoulder button.
All right, in this game you hold down left trigger and then you press one of the face buttons, so that's different. Now they can
Oh,
sue.
that's entirely different.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I can't talk about Godfall's story because the story part of the game got cut out, and then you need to buy the super special awesome version to actually access the story. So I can only talk about the actual gameplay part, and the actual gameplay part exists. I mean, it is just God of War with teleportation. Sometimes, like it's not control teleportation. You just look at the crystal and then press and hold the button, and then teleport happens.
Oh, okay. So not anything new or cool or interesting. It's just that.
Yeah, it's just we didn't really we couldn't figure out how to connect these two ports. So here, have a crystal.
Kind of reminds me of God of War 2 having time stop, but only if like you were near a certain puzzle item.
Nice. So
Oh
yeah,
man.
the characters are, I mean, like it's very like the story seems a lot like. Well, not, like I was going to say, the story seems a lot like Destiny's. It's not like it doesn't. The story seems like a story that would be set in that universe, though. Like it just feels like that.
Things just happen to get loot.
Yeah, it is a game. Like it's
It certainly is.
like I'll say it seems like the way because you actually have like combos and shit because they copied God of War, so you had to do some sort of combos. So you have some combos and stuff like that. So it seems like maybe like half a notch more interesting than Borderlands. And also the writing isn't just like, Borderlands. So that's better. It's still generic, but it's not freaking Butt Stallion.
Yeah.
And what else did I do? I think that may be it. So yeah,
All
W.
right. For my week, let's see. I watched 2 movies. I watched Black Widow, which I was pleasantly surprised by. I did not think I would like it, but I did. The first third. Have you watched it, Pink?
I have.
I thought the first third of the movie was by far the weakest. Okay, I'm going to assume you agreed with me and I'm great. Okay.
I'm trying to remember all the happenings that occurred in what order for Black Widow because it's been a little while since I've last seen it.
The first third is Natasha, like, cuts back to Natasha and Yelena's childhood. Then the very, very awkward intro with a shitty Nirvana cover. Then Natasha is dealing with problems, people like Taskmaster's coming for her. Oh no! And then like
Right.
near the end of the first third, they introduce Yelena, and that's pretty well the only good part.
Yeah. Once Yelena is introduced, the movie's fine.
Yes, exactly. As soon as Yelena gets introduced, the movie gains a whole new life.
Yeah.
It's funny that the movie is called Black Widow because Natasha is by far the worst part of it.
Yep.
It is incredible. Like, you could tell they had that whole intro section of them living in America for 3 years entirely just to explain why Scarlett Johansson won't do a fucking Russian accent. But it is constantly embarrassing for Scarlett Johansson because there are so many scenes of her with Florence Pugh and David Harbour and help me here, the actress who plays Melina in Black Widow and also played in the Mummy movies. Help me.
Oh, I would not know.
Rachel Weisz. No, her name isn't Rachel. It's something Weisz. Damn it, what is it? I know she's Daniel Craig's wife. I'll look up Daniel Craig and that'll lead me to it.
Daniel Craig's spouse.
Oh, Rachel Weisz.
Oh, you're
Oh,
right.
I got that right. Yeah, so Scarlett Johansson is a like stunningly mediocre actress. She doesn't stink up every scene she's in. I'll give her credit for that. There have been actors in big blockbusters that have stunk up the scenes they're in. A lot of Star Wars actors, actually. Scarlett Johansson doesn't actively detract from every scene she's in, but she doesn't add anything either, you know?
Yep.
And there are several scenes where it's her and Florence Pugh and Rachel Weisz and David Harbour, and all three of them are much better actors than she is.
Yep.
And Scarlett Johansson refuses to do a Russian accent. She instead just does the most plain Jane American accent possible. While she's surrounded by Florence Pugh, Rachel Weisz, and David Harbour, who all are actually bothering to do Russian accents.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Florence Pugh is younger than you are, Scarlett. And yeah, like near every scene in this movie is, yeah, we just needed to get rid of Scarlett Johansson so that Florence Pugh can take over as Black Widow, because holy shit.
Yeah.
And I thought that the second third, I thought was pretty good at dealing with, emotional stuff. I thought for a Marvel movie, it was pretty good at dealing with emotional stuff because a lot of it wasn't undercut with comedy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I was surprised by, I guess I shouldn't have been surprised by it, but one of the probably best emotional scenes in the movie is when Yelena goes to her bedroom to cry, and Red Guardian goes in there to do the whole parental talk thing, and at first he sucks at it, but then he starts singing American Pie, right?
Yeah.
And that one was not undercut by a joke, unusually for Marvel.
Indeed.
And then I found out afterwards, oh, David Harbour improv'd in the American Pie bit.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. If he hadn't done that,
guess that.
Yeah, if he had done that, if he had not done that, the scene was just going to be Red Guardian sucks at being a parent and tells a story about getting his hands peed on.
Well,
which makes way more sense for the way Marvel writes scenes.
Yep.
It's the big problem with Marvel for the last few movies, and it's starting to become more of a problem with every movie, is that these movies just refuse to be earnest, you know?
Yeah, they're going for the cheap pops here.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, there are so many cases where it's just so simple of like, you already had a good emotional scene going here, all you had to do was just let it proceed. But like, it's not even like going for the cheap pop, it's just like they're scared to be taken seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many good emotional scenes are there in Endgame or Guardians 2 that are then immediately undercut? Like, already good emotional scenes, and then, ha, Quill, you're an idiot, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or Drax is an idiot, more likely.
Right.
Oh boy, I thought the third third I thought was really good. I will say, Taskmaster's the worst part of the movie.
Yes.
Like from beginning to end.
Yeah, absolutely. They should have not included Taskmaster whatsoever. That was a top tier villain that they completely wasted for no good reason.
Yes.
They should have used Super Adaptoid.
Yes. Like the first couple action scenes where Taskmaster's actually imitating like recognizable Captain America techniques and stuff, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like there needs to be more to the character than just that. And how on earth did they not highlight the Red Guardian like is all about fighting Captain America? But they never actually have a scene where it's like they directly acknowledge he's fighting someone now who uses Captain America's fighting style.
Yeah.
Weird. I did think like they a part of the movie, of course, was to just satisfy Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow fans by finally giving it a movie where she's the main hero. And I will say, like the whole stretch of her versus what's his name, Dreykov, I thought was like a solid enough. Like just finally give Black Widow her moment of being the hero. I thought that was solid enough.
Yeah.
Especially the best, probably the only like really good Natasha moment in the whole movie is Natasha intentionally breaking her own nose.
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
I like that scene, but at the same time, as I've had time to look back on the big finale, I thought the plan was so incredibly stupid and ridiculous. Because the thing is, he's kind of like Purple Man. You can't get close to him and breathe in his pheromones, otherwise he controls you. So just stand back a little bit and shoot him. The plan was never to apprehend him alive. You know, he freaking dies in the end, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know why they couldn't just do the kind of stealth thing that they did, but just shoot him. It felt like creating the barrier of, oh, we can't get close to him in order to kill him was kind of a irrelevant plot because trained assassins don't need to get close. So I would have liked them to come up with something smarter in order to get that scene to be done. Because there's no real reason why it had to go down that way.
Yeah, well, I think, like, for the most part, like, they were able to get around that mostly just by the fact that, like, he's in this very constrained office, and it's deep inside a fucking flying sky fortress, right?
Right.
Which they seem to imply he never leaves because the entire world thinks he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I do think it probably would have been smart to have just a little dialogue scene where, like, Yelena says, well, what if we just wait for him to, like, if Dreykov's still alive, why don't we just shoot him while he's out getting coffee? And Natasha to say, well, the world thinks he's dead. Evidently, he doesn't go out to get coffee anymore. We're going to have to go on his home turf.
Right.
I think it would have been simple to work around it. But just to put things in perspective for Addie, because this does seem like something Addie would think is cool. So the main villain, Dreykov, is the guy who raised Black Widow, right, Addie?
Sure.
So he programmed her to, with like psychological stuff or whatever, to not hurt him because he projects certain pheromones that trigger her to not hurt him, right?
Yeah.
So she starts intentionally pissing him off so that he'll start punching her because the plan is for him to break her nose so she can't smell the pheromones anymore. And they have this very great bit where after he punches her around for a little bit, they go back to talking. And Natasha says, dude, you are such a big enough wimp, you couldn't even break my nose. And then she headbutts his desk really violently.
Nice.
And then she tries to kill him.
And then he says, would you kindly, and it was for nothing.
Yeah. They do more or less do the would you kindly bit with a lot of characters like that. That's like the main plot of the movie is would you kindly. But yeah, I do love how like cinematically it was shot so suddenly, like Natasha just suddenly headbutting the desk so violently, you know. And then they like actually make it look like her nose is just exploding with blood.
They just superimpose Natasha into that clip with Joey Mercury.
That could work, yeah. Oh man, so Black Widow was a surprisingly fun movie. I will say I'm excited to see what they do with Yelena.
Me too.
like between her showing up in this new Hawkeye show and of course Kingpin coming back for it, I'm really interested in it. I wish I had internet.
Internet is always appreciated.
Yeah. And the other movie I was surprised quite like was Free Guy,
I have not seen that.
which is, for those who can't remember, the movie where Ryan Reynolds plays pretty well a GTA NPC that gains sentience. The majority of the plot is part like him gaining sentience, and what causes him to gain sentience was a brush with a particular player. This is the other part of the meat of the plot that I don't remember hearing about, which is that Joe Keery, who played Steve in Stranger Things, he's here. And Jodie Comer played two indie video game devs. And apparently, Jodie Comer thinks that their work was stolen to make this GTA game by Taika Waititi as douchebag game developer, right? Douchebag AAA game dev, right?
That too.
Yes, exactly. And Joe Keery's character is kind of a coward and kind of like, I don't think we can do anything about this. And so he took Taika Waititi's offer to be a dev on the GTA ripoff. And the majority of the game's plot is Jodie Comer Jodie Comer is trying to play through the game herself because she swears that they stole her work, but she needs to find evidence to do it. And she, of course, winds up accidentally making one of the NPCs sentient, which is big because the game that her and Joe Keery made was a game where they had like the most advanced AI ever. The AIs learn and have passions and so on, right?
Yeah, Watch Dogs advertisement blurb, yes.
So the movie winds up like having an actual plot to it, which I was pleasantly surprised by. I kind of thought when I heard about it that it was just going to be a movie where Ryan Reynolds does a lot of dumb video game jokes. There are a lot of dumb video game jokes, I will say. There are definitely some parts of the movie where it's very kitschy, but it is very heartful of a movie, I'll say. And they do have a lot of fun with the idea, and they do kind of handle like, boy, GTA is kind of a dumb game, you know, especially GTA Online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be GTA Online, and so you see players constantly running around blowing shit up and just shooting people for no reason. And they're all running around in the dumbest outfits because it's GTA Online, right?
Right.
And then someone installs the Deadpool mod.
Yeah, and it like most of the players are running around with like, they look like if a punk BDSM club threw up, right?
Yeah.
Or like the other half look like gangsters in their underwear, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's making videos is what you're saying.
Yeah. And part of the fun is like Ryan Reynolds, like he's still like funny, of course, in this movie, but he's not playing Deadpool, unusually for modern day. He's instead playing this character who is very charmingly innocent and doesn't really understand why these things are happening, and he just thinks it's part of the natural laws of the universe are, oh, there's just people who run around blowing things up. Yeah, they're different. I don't know. There's a very great scene where him and Jodie Comer's in-game character are going on a date, and he's trying to charm her. And at one point, he's like, oh, I heard a joke the other day. And Jodie Comer's character's like, oh, okay, what is it? And he starts talking. So there's a man in a wheelchair and like some mental illness. There's a schizophrenic man, and they both like, and it starts to look like the joke's going to go into horribly offensive territory. And Jodie Comer just goes, oh, God, who told you this? And he says, I don't know. I heard it from one of the people running around with guns. And Jodie Comer says, please never repeat anything those people say. And in the end, it takes some, good turns. I think it ultimately winds up being a good movie. What I will say is I think, Addie, you'd hate it because you can tell, like, the movie was supposed to come out like a year earlier than it did, but COVID happened, and also executive producer types stepped in because they thought it wouldn't do well enough. And they threw some stuff in, and it's really obvious what they threw in, which is several scenes of the world going nuts because, holy shit, this GTA NPC has become sentient. And it's like, most people wouldn't fucking care. And it's like the whole finale is like being streamed on Twitch to like Times Square. And it's like nobody would care that much. And the other thing is, there are like 4 scenes in the whole movie, like strewn throughout the movie, of them cutting away to various Twitch streamers and YouTubers reacting and talking about, oh my God, did you hear about this NPC in the GTAs who's sentient? And like, they cut between a mix of them. I didn't recognize several of them, but like Ninja, Jacksepticeye, Pokimane, and Laserbeam, I recognized all of them, and I like it takes you out of it real bad because, for one thing, several of those guys are assholes. Like, none of us want to watch Ninja. But for another thing, like, it just seems like such a kitschy, like, hey, kids, look, it's your streamers, you know?
Yeah.
And like, it would have been fine, honestly, if they got them to act like huge blowhard assholes. Like, hey, guys, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. But I don't think they could get Ninja to sign up if they did that, though, because that'd be too accurate.
Yeah. No, they should have like they should have made Ninja an e-beggar. Like he turns the stream on, and he has just like coal in his face. Like he just looks like he came from the mines, and he's just like, please give me just 5 cents. And then they show his chat, and all of his chat is just like unapologetic assholes telling him to kill himself.
And they just cut that into the movie for no reason. It's got no relation to the plot. It just happens.
Yeah.
What I will say is, it was kind of funny. Pokimane cannot do a straight performance in these movies. She had a very clearly locked, oh God, this is going in a movie face, right?
Yeah.
And it was very much, and Ninja didn't look like he wanted to be there, so it was very much a contrast. Because, like, I don't know if I'm supposed to hate Jacksepticeye if there's something fucky he did and I'm just not aware of. But like him and Laserbeam, like, put on a lot more like professional. Like, I need to be in this movie, so let me just act like this is serious. Oh my God, there's a GTA NPC that's turned sentient. This changes everything, right?
From what I remember, Jacksepticeye, like tried to stop making Let's Plays. Like, you know, he doesn't like doing the yelling shit. So he tried to do like actual interviews and stuff like that. He might still be doing those. I forget. But I do know that they didn't get as much views. So I think what he might be doing is he does interviews, which is what he actually wants to do. And then he also does Let's Plays because that's what makes money for the interviews.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I remember the Wooly once said on one of the podcasts, one for them, one for me. One for them, one for me. One for both of us, one for them.
Yeah. And then I think his biggest sin is that he's friends with PewDiePie. And that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst thing he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when you're an LPer at his level of money making, it starts to be like, well, you start to make friends with the other guys even if you don't like them, right?
Yeah.
Even if you think they are some bitch. But yeah, I haven't paid attention to him. Well, I've never really paid attention to Jacksepticeye altogether. It's just the last time I saw him in a video was when he was doing those very funny LPs with the other like load of Irish YouTubers. Which are they still doing those?
I think so.
There are Irish YouTubers?
Yeah, there's Call Me Kevin.
At least 6.
I know of 3. I know that there's RT Game, there's Call Me Kevin, and there's Jacksepticeye.
Yeah, and when they put those 3 together, plus the other Irish dudes, it produces good stuff. Funny stuff, not like not the kind of LP that you can watch and listen and be like, oh yes, I agree. No, I mean like funny stuff. But I'll go ahead and throw in their Mario Kart video later because that is the one that's like definitely the funniest. Which, hey, did you watch their Mario Kart video?
Whose channel was it on?
I think it was on RT's.
I don't think so. The last one I remember, the last I remember of all 3 of them was like, I want to say it was Carry On, but Carry On cannot be played in multiplayer, I don't think. but it was something like that.
They definitely did that, like, professional delivery service or whatever. I didn't watch that, though. I only watched, like, the first couple they did.
Yeah.
I remember I did watch the Minecraft video they did, which devolved into most of them just yelling at each other and arguing while, like, Call Me Kevin is just rowing his boat on land in the background.
Yeah, that's Kevin.
Which, yeah, pretty great image, honestly. Because, like, when it's a funny thing about Irish people is that when they're around other Irish people, like, their Irishness multiplies, right?
Yeah, it's like the inverse of the ninja rule in movies.
Yes.
The more Irish people are together, the stronger they are.
Yeah, pretty well. And it's like a bunch of, like, Irish people who are getting more and more Irish by the moment, especially as they get angrier, screaming at each other, man rowing a boat over dirt. You know? Oh, man. All right. So, yeah, Free Guy I thought was mostly pretty good. I will say the worst moment of the movie, the one you guys probably heard of, is the final fight scene of him versus the ultimate threat of whatever, which I won't spoil. But I will spoil this because who gives a fuck. The big resolution is he goes into his inventory and he pulls out a bunch of licensed objects. He pulls out the Captain America shield. He pulls out a Hulk fist. He pulls out a lightsaber, and then he pulls out the Half-Life gravity gun and the portal gun, right? And it plays the Star Wars music when he pulls the lightsaber out. It plays the Avengers music when he pulls out the Captain America shield. Shockingly, it does not play Half-Life music when he pulls out the Valve stuff. But it is like 100% a look I clapped when I saw it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, they had a good thing going with the GTA parody. So they could have just made a GTA parody and just have Ryan Reynolds go up to the guy, pull out a gun, and then shoot him in the head and just walk off.
Well, they could have done like at least like the goofier GTA stuff that's happened in GTA Online or San Andreas, I guess. Oh man, but yeah, that's Free Guy. Free Guy wound up actually being a bit of fun.
He should have pulled up the console commands, summoned a bunch of explosive chickens, and then hit one of them and ran. There you go. There's a video game way to fix things.
Yeah. Or yeah, he manages to find the console and he just like makes him tiny or deletes them. The threat, yeah.
Yeah. Just
which I will not spoil.
He keeps killing the threat and then resurrect and then clicking on them and then going resurrect until they become the creepy floor threat.
Yeah.
Which will not make sense to either of you. So I'm gonna have to fish out whichever video of Scasbury says the creepy floor guy and I send it your way.
Oh man. Alright, so that's Free Guy. Yeah, Free Guy is pretty neat. And let's see. Oh, because Soon has been going through the Dark Souls series, I did put a little bit of time into Dark Souls 2 as well as Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 2 is more so just to refresh me on what Dark Souls 2 is like. Boy, I forgot how fucking sluggish that game is. God damn, that is by far the slowest of the Souls games. Your character is in molasses in that game. Eventually you get used to it, and it gets to be part of Dark Souls 2's charm. But holy fucking shit does that game take some real adjustment time from the other Souls games. Especially from Dark Souls 3, which is the complete opposite. And it's like Bloodborne, but you roll instead of you quick step.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit lamer. Yeah, I think I may have been a little bit too harsh on Dark Souls 3 in the past. Now that I'm playing it again, I'm actually finding I'm liking it a lot better. But I will say, like, my first run through Dark Souls 3, I was not overly fond of it. There are parts I liked, but for the most part, I thought it was kind of a disappointment. I'm enjoying it quite a bit more now. I do think it is still, like, kind of awkwardly paced, though, for a Souls game. And I do think that the story is still probably the least interesting, at least to me, you know? And let's see. What else did I play? I'm not sure I played much else. Yeah, mostly I've just been dealing with setting up new tech around here.
I mean, I did drain your internet.
That is true. That is true. What did you do with the internet you drained?
Vikings.
Ah. Well, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. Play Dead by Daylight with Mike. last night. Mostly just the same fun, usual games. The unusual thing, though, we did 2 farming in one night. And both of them, we got lucky for Mike. Because the first one was we ran into a trickster, and the trickster was just acting all kinds of weird. Like, at first, it was like a serious, legit game, but he was still ignoring Mike for some reason. Like, there's several times he caught Mike and pretty well just, like, ignored him.
Who was Mike playing as?
Mike was playing Michaela, I think.
Very weird.
And he killed both of the other players that weren't me and Mike, but then once he got down to me and Mike, like, there was a point where I was supposed to be caught, but I just kind of turned around to him and went like, fuck it, just kill me, because I was, like, in a, like, dead end. And he just went, okay, farming time. I was like, all right, well, this is happening now.
The killer might let Mike off the hook because he had an order to not kill Michaela for 3 games.
Yeah. Michaela must escape 3 times, counts both survivor and killer.
Yeah.
And then later on, we got a game versus Ghostface, and Mike was getting real fucking mad about Ghostface at that point, because we just had a very brutal game against Ghostface where he exposed all of us and then nuked all of us, right? So I thought, oh god, if we get another Ghostface game where he creams us, I'm going to have to listen to Mike complain about it. So I went for the Hail Mary play of try and get Ghostface to farm, and it worked. So 2 farms in one night.
Yeah.
Which is really good on Christmas. I will say it was not as profitable on Ghostface because Trickster used, like, for the Trickster match, we had both an escape cake and a sacrifice cake. So, like, I wound up with, like, 50,000 blood points from one match.
Nice.
But still, when you get a Ghostface match that you don't actually end up being a Ghostface match, beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I don't get upset about Ghostface like you or Mike do, Pink, but I will say looking at him, it's like, yeah, there's a design problem here.
I don't get upset at Ghostface at all.
Oh, really? Mike said that you're starting to get really salty about Ghostface like he does.
No, I think Mike is projecting.
Okay.
I get mad at the Wraith as much as he does, but not Ghostface. Ghostface, I feel, is actually rather fair. It is between the 2 stealthy stalker killers. I don't like facing Michael at all because that one is a situation where no matter what I do, I can play just fine. If my teammates are getting the stock meter farmed on the Michael, then he can round the corner and expose us all just by looking at me for 0.3 seconds, and then I go down immediately. To me, being stalked by Ghostface, if I'm stalked by him, that was my own fault. I wasn't paying attention. I deserve to be stalked and go down. If I get stalked by Michael, it's like, okay, maybe it was my fault, but also there could be times where I've not seen Michael the entire match, and he just happened to stalk all the other 3 survivors and got himself up to 99% on tier 3, and then once he finds me, just, hold the button for a second or 2, that completes his tier 3 stalk, and then he'll be able to down me or instant kill me, whatever it may be. So I don't find Michael fair, quote unquote, but I do find Ghostface to be fair, and not as big a threat as Mike finds him to be.
Mike is mitigated a lot by, like, whenever he hits tier 3, you get the biggest sound notification in the universe, and he gets, like, a massive heartbeat aura, right? Terror radius, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, by all means, like, Michael can definitely have bad situations. If he hits tier 3 and the entire group happens to be in one place, yeah, that can be a complete wipe. But I will say, like, I do think that I personally prefer Michael over Ghostface just off of concept, because, like, when we were talking about Ghostface last night, what the fuck did I just do? Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I can't hear you. Hang on, give me a second.
Nice.
Damn it, these earbuds have a thing where if I accidentally tap one of them, it assumes that I'm trying to, like, talk to Google and tell Google to do something. So it's gonna... There we go. Okay, you're back. So it takes a little bit where it's listening for me to give Google commands, but I don't have it hooked up to any Google stuff, so it just kind of waits. So I can hear you again now.
Perfect.
With Ghostface, like we were talking about him last night, what I thought was, okay, so with Ghostface, I have to assume the design philosophy was they made it where Pig could sneak. And Mike says Legion can sneak as well. Is that true?
No.
Okay, I thought he was going crazy. So what I thought was, like, with Pig, like, Behavior must have looked at Pig and been like, it's cool that Pig can sneak around, but she's got no real motivation to do it other than removing her terror radius. What if we made a killer who could sneak around and would be actively encouraged to sneak around and stalk players because that's creepy as fuck, right?
Yeah.
So they made Ghostface. And the encouragement for it is that if you fully stalk somebody, you can kill them in one hit. And Mike utterly despises that, of course, and he thinks it's bullshit because, for one thing, he thinks it's silly that Ghostface gets that ability just like that. And he also thinks it's bullshit that Ghostface is so small, he has such a small model, and that he can peek around corners and so on. And what I was thinking was, I do think it's a little bit overkill that it gets him to one hit. What I suggested was a way that still keeps Ghostface fun for Ghostface players, but isn't quite so brutal for players, the survivors, is what if when Ghostface stalks, instead of exposure, it instead causes Ghostface to, like, I don't know, go into like some kind of like chase kill mode or something, where he can slide over pallets and jump over windows at the same speed as survivors can.
I would have
Right?
loved that because that to give him like Legion's Feral Frenzy to pop off from his stalking. I would have loved that because that would also be more in line with the cinematic Ghostfaces as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I was thinking was, like, you want it to be a love letter to the, well, not the scary movies, to the Scream movies.
Right.
And, like, I'm not an expert on the Scream movies. I've not watched them. You and Mike actually have. And Addy, have you watched Scream as well?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So I'm the only one. I think I may be the only one in our group who hasn't watched Scream. Okay.
Nice.
What is wrong with you?
I'll get around to it at some point. But but, like, my understanding is, like, the idea of him just watching and that leads to him getting a one-hit kill doesn't seem like a particularly exciting way to adapt the character and make the character feel like the character, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the stalking seems in character for Ghostface, but the one-hit kill seems a bit strange, especially when they're, like, these hulking, monstrous killers who take 2 hits to kill somebody. Meanwhile, Ghostface, who is a pithy little guy with just a combat knife, need only 1 hit.
Yeah.
Like, it's more fun to, like, I think I've seen one scene from Scream where he's chasing someone around, and he is, well, a teenage boy, so he's pretty quick on his feet, right?
Right.
Like, it makes more sense that Ghostface shouldn't be slovenly and hard to move around and shit. Like, you know, Trapper, who is very obviously Jason Voorhees, and Jason Voorhees is a big fucking lug of a man, right?
Yeah.
And along similar lines, you know, Leatherface, big, slovenly hillbilly. So it makes sense he's a little bit slower and has a little bit trouble moving around pallets and windows and so on. But for Ghostface, he should be able to move around him at the same speed as the survivors, at least if he triggers his special ability, right?
Yeah.
That just seems like it'd make more sense.
Yeah, I would love that.
I don't think Behavior will do anything about Ghostface, because I think, like, what Mike's particular vitriol towards Ghostface seems to be rare, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, if they ever did want to do something like that, that does seem like it'd be neat. I also played a killer game. From my first time playing killer in a public lobby in probably 2 or 3 years. Played Death Slinger. And man, I forgot how much fun playing killer is in that game. Against pubs, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, like, I got a 0K, but I didn't care, and I still wound up getting a really high blood point score. Like, I didn't care because, like, if I wasn't getting killed, well, for one thing, I did get several hooks. I just didn't get any kills.
Yeah.
And I was going around breaking walls, kicking generators, breaking pallets, all kinds of things. So I was still having a good time, and I assume the survivors had a good time.
Yeah.
At least they didn't flame me and say, easy, get good afterwards, so I assume they had a good time. And there was a very delightful moment where I had hooked Jake twice, and it was right near the exit gates, and the entire team was made up of altruists. They had the gate open, but all 3 of them went back for Jake. And there's a very great moment where I nearly got Jake for the third and final hook because I was Death Slinger. As they were running, I was going to shoot Jake. And there was a great moment where I had a Nia that was actually looking at me, and she dived in the way of the shot, and she was on 2 hits, so she got to leave. And they were actually like, it was surprising. It was actually such a good team. They had a tap that, like, as the rest of the team ran, the tap was kind of signaling to me, like, hey, you played well, go ahead and hook me. And I had to signal to him, no, you guys beat me fair and square. And the way I signaled to him was I just shot the harpoon into the gate, like, no, go. Bizarrely polite.
Yeah.
That's my one killer game. I won't play any game ever again because nothing will ever top that for Survivor. Anyways. And the last thing I can think of, right, SmackDown. Fuck, I'll get to SmackDown in a little bit. Because that'll be the rest of the podcast. This podcast is going to be a 3-hour one, boys.
Oh, boy.
It wasn't a very exciting SmackDown, but if there's anything to go off of with our group. The last game I played the first level of Bayonetta 2. I got Bayonetta 2 for Christmas last year. I am only just now getting around to it, but it is very well timed because Bayonetta 2 is a Christmas game, for those who did not know.
I did not know.
Yes, the opening cutscene is very much set during Christmas. Bayonetta and Enzo are out Christmas shopping, and Enzo is doing his usual thing, which, Addy, you remember Enzo, right?
Kinda.
And Enzo's like, I gotta get the Christmas presents home to my kids. The cute little shits will tear me apart if I don't get them the fucking jet toy. Oh! And Enzo, right?
Yeah, he needs to get Ultraman.
Yes. And it's one thing that surprised me, very much a contrast, like Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta is deliberately going out and seeking out the angels to go and kill them, right? In the intro cutscene.
Yeah.
Like, she's deliberately tricking the angels into coming to her. Bayonetta 2, no, the angels are out to get you, motherfucker. The angels throw a jet plane at Enzo while he's Christmas shopping, trying to kill countless civilians. And it is only because Bayonetta dives in the way and, like, fucking catches the jet plane that the angels do not slaughter countless innocents. So yeah, Bayonetta is very much a universe where both the angels and the demons are dicks. And it was one thing, it almost kind of felt like Bayonetta 2 almost had this deliberately, like, this big fight scene in the middle of what is clearly New York, because Bayonetta 1, when it came out in 2009, 2010, about then, the superhero craze hadn't hit. Bayonetta 2 came out 2013, 2014. The superhero craze had hit. So big crazy fights happen in New York. Okay. Bayonetta 2, they knew, gotta start off crazy, right? Bayonetta 1 starts off pretty crazy. You remember the part where Bayonetta sets up a conga line of 10 angels and then German suplexes it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they realized we need to go bigger. So you not only get a big fight on a jet plane as it's flying through the air, and, like, the jet plane gets sliced in half, and Bayonetta is still fighting with the angels on the jet plane that's sliced in half. Oh, now we're fighting on a train that's being chased by one giant angel. Oh, now Bayonetta's demon that she calls upon has gone berserk and is ignoring her commands, and she needs to beat it back into submission by it climbing up the Empire State Building while Bayonetta flies up and punches it in the face.
Nice.
This game's fucking amazing.
And then she suplexes the Empire State Building.
Oh man, that would be great. But no, she calls in an even bigger demon. There's always a bigger fish, as Master Qui-Gon always liked to say.
And that suplexes the Empire State Building.
Kind of. Oh man. So Bayonetta 2, the other thing, Bayonetta 2, these games feel damn good. Bayonetta 1 felt damn good. Bayonetta 2 feels even better so far. I haven't got far past the first level in, but goddamn, this is a good feeling game. Nice and snappy and responsive. And very, very good punchy combat. It's still Bayonetta, you know?
Yeah.
I'm excited to go through the rest of the game, and I'm once again hyped for Bayonetta 3.
Which will come out.
I'm glad that it exists. What?
Which will come out never.
That joke would have been a lot better a few months ago.
Did they announce an actual thing that they're gonna stick with?
Oh, you didn't see it? They released the first gameplay trailer.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah. And Bayo's new look, because of course Bayonetta changes her look in every game.
No, Smash Brothers is outdated now.
Oh no!
We're gonna have to call Sakurai back just so he can make the new model for Bayonetta.
Hang on, let me see. Here we go. Here's Bayo's new look that's not in Smash. There you go. Now she's looking like On from Persona.
A bit.
I appreciate that. The Bayonetta's recurring thing is she's too vain to stick with one look.
Yeah.
And they stuck with it in terms of moveset, too. Because while her moves are still largely the same in gameplay, on her default style, of course. I've not unlocked any extra weapons, and I assume the extra weapons are going to be wholly different in Bayonetta 2 than they were in Bayonetta 1. Though I'd love for the katana to come back, because the katana was cool. But like her moves still functionally are the same, but visually she's doing different moves because Bayonetta is too vain to stick to using the same old punches and kicks, right?
Yeah.
So that's all really cool. And Bayonetta is just always a fun character. There is one thing I should mention about Bayonetta 3, which I believe they confirmed they did not get the old Bayonetta voice actor. It is a new voice actress, though she's still Bayonetta, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Bayonetta is the kind of distinctive character where, for one thing, the voice director would not let somebody phone it in, and for another thing, a new voice actor coming in would still be able to, like, clearly, this is a character I don't need to handle with any subtlety.
It's that voice actor,
Very,
to call it.
Yeah, very hammy character, and that's the fun. I will say, though, in Bayonetta 2, I'm pretty sure they recast Enzo, because Bayonetta 1 had a very distinctive Enzo voice. Bayonetta 2 does not have that same voice, but they didn't recast Rodon, and that's the important one. Dave Finney is the fucking man. Oh, man. Rodon's the fucking coolest, isn't he, Eddie?
I don't remember. It's been a while since I played Bayonetta, you have to remember it. Like, I played it on my Xbox.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you remember the demon guy who runs the bar?
Yes.
Him.
Alright, cool.
Okay, good talk.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I've got to say about Bayonetta 2 for now. SmackDown last night was a pretty fun one, though it ended really quickly. I was surprised by that, or it felt like it ended really quickly. One thing I was surprised by, Brock Lesnar gets on the mic. Brock Lesnar is a face, and he's allowed on the mic now.
Yeah.
That was two things I was very confused by. Two things I thought were impossible. Brock Lesnar working face, Brock Lesnar getting on the mic. And here's the third thing I thought was impossible. Brock Lesnar can actually cut pretty fun monster face promos.
Yeah.
I was shocked by that. They had a great
segment.
segment. So last week, I guess, I missed last week's SmackDown, but apparently Brock came out and suplexed Sami Zayn a bunch. And then Sami Zayn had to wrestle Roman. So Sami came out to the ring this time in a wheelchair with the world's two most muscular male nurses behind him. And a neck brace, which makes sense for getting German suplexed a bunch, and a leg brace where none of the moves that hit Sami hit him in the legs.
After the show went offline, the freaking Kurt Angle came out and locked him in the ankle lock, broke his legs, both of them.
Well, I liked it because the gimmick obviously was Sami was faking it, right?
Yeah.
So like I thought that was funny.
The male nurses are just his sugar babies.
Well, I think you mean sugar daddies?
No, the sugar baby is the person you give the money to.
Ah, okay.
I think.
But yeah, they do have a point in the promo where Brock points to them and says, "Those guys aren't real nurses." Because like one is like got biceps that are tearing his sleeves apart actively, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, and they had a pretty great promo where like Lesnar like almost kind of like you can't tell like whether Lesnar's trying to fuck with Sammy or if he's being legit. He's talking about how we're both Canadians, aren't we? And I was thinking, Lesnar, aren't you from Minnesota?
He lives in Canada
guess,
now.
I guess that's close enough to Canada, yeah.
Yep.
And Lesnar's like, let's go moose hunting. I think we start off on the wrong foot. I know, let's go hunting together. We'll go moose hunting. And Sammy's like, Brock, I'm vegan. And Brock goes, well, whatever. You can still shoot at him. And Brock starts to wheel Sami Zayn out of the ring like, let's go moose hunting right now. And fucking Paul Heyman, of course, comes out and says, what the fuck is this shit? Like, well, he didn't say fuck, of course. But like Paul Heyman comes out and actually cuts, it's Paul Heyman. He's one of the only guys left in who can be good on the mic these days.
Yeah.
And they do this hilarious bit where Paul comes out and for one thing says, of course, what the hell is this? What happened to the Brock I know? And he starts talking about the Brock I used to know, right? Brock, the animal, the beast, the something or other. Oh my God. Oh. And Brock starts getting really hyped up by Paul doing all that. And it's like he causes Brock to Hulk out, and Brock just starts suplexing the male nurses. Like it's honestly like it's like fucking Paul. Like, it's almost like you could see like a bulge increasing in Brock's pants as he like Paul gets him hard, and he's like, I gotta do it. I gotta suplex somebody, and he just goes over and starts suplexing the nurses, and then he suplexes Sammy and throws the wheelchair out and F5 Sammy. And it was like the most insane bullshit. Like this is the kind of stupid wrestling I appreciate. If wrestling's got to be bad, I'd like for it to be this kind of bad, where it's just like, what the fuck? Brock has a suplex libido that must be satisfied. Oh man, and that was definitely the highlight of the night. Yeah. What else was there? They had a bit where Drew McIntyre got pissed at Adam Pearce, who's the current GM, right?
Yeah. So
he went in with his Claymore and stuck his Claymore into Adam Pearce's desk. Throughout the show. Yeah, he was pissed at him because he'd been screwed out of the Contenders Battle Royal or whatever last week. So he comes in and just impales Adam Pearce's desk with a Claymore. And throughout the show, it cuts back to Adam Pearce trying and failing to pull the Claymore out of his desk. That was pretty good. And it's a pretty good excuse for Drew to get rid of the Claymore, because we can't have Drew coming out with the Claymore every week. It's a lethal fucking weapon.
No kidding.
What else was there? There was a match that was supposed to be Naomi versus Sonia Deville. Sonia Deville came out in a ring gear, which was the first time I ever saw Sonia come out in a ring gear. And it was especially funny for my parents, because they were both like, she wrestles? And it looked like they were going to do a match. Oh no, Natalya and Shayna come out to the ring because, they are on Sonia's, payroll or whatever. Well, she's GM, so I guess it's just she's promising them good booking, I guess.
Yeah.
And then what they have for the face bit, because of course the heels are going to fuck Naomi up. What they have for the face bit is the new hot women's wrestler, Shia Lee, comes out. And for one thing, they've been building Xia Li, Shia Lee. Which way am I supposed to pronounce it?
I don't remember. I think it's Shia Lee.
They have Xia Li come out. Okay, so they've been building Xia Li up for several weeks. And what they've been doing is they've been having comic book segments. Where they do Infamous, right? Where it's full motion video comic books.
Yeah.
And it's this is so fucking stupid. Here we've got this Chinese mystic lady built up by comic books. No, we are not trying to exploit the success of Shang-Chi. And when she comes out to do her entrance, she comes out with fucking swords, again, lethal weapons, does a whole lame kata, because like you're not going to actually get a person to do a kata with live swords like that unless they're a trained professional, which I assume she's not. And all throughout, they do this stupid holographic special effects thing where they make it look like she's projecting lightning. And it's like,
I actually saw a gif of that.
fuck off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Someone saw Undertaker getting struck by, having the casket get struck by the bolt of lightning and Taker ascending to heaven. And we're like, God damn, we got to make a whole gimmick of this. Oh, it was so dumb. And then she comes out to the ring. And of course, you know, she's not projecting lightning. She doesn't have swords. She doesn't do kung fu. All the shit they built up, because you can't build that up, because that's not real. And she comes out and, like, obviously, of course, she's green. So her and Natalya start working because Natalya can cover for the fact that she's green.
Yep.
And it's just your usual crowd fuck people up spot. And Shia Lee does a really lame roundhouse kick that does not connect with anyone's face. It just connects with their arms, and people sell it like they got hit in the face with the chest. And that Shia Lee is not used to being on TV because she's obviously got awkward facial expressions like, oh, I need to look serious, pouty face.
Yep.
And, like, holy fuck. Like, for one thing, introducing the new guy immediately by pulling them into the angle that's already ongoing. No, just bring out some of the shitty jobber women and have Xia Li squash them.
Absolutely.
And if she can't do that, like, she definitely shouldn't be getting... Like, I think what it is she's green, so they want to get her involved with Natalya and Shayna, because Natalya and Shayna and Naomi can make her look a lot better than she is.
Yeah.
And that's certainly a way to build a good wrestler, is to give them a bunch of crutches so they never have to improve.
It worked so well in the past.
Oh, God. It's so fucking stupid. Like, it's not so, like, on its face, like, ha-ha funny stupid that it'll survive through the aeons, right? Because no one's going to forget, like, Heidenreich, because it's just stupid on his face, him raping Michael Cole in the bathroom, right?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the kind of funny ha-ha stupid. It's just, like, insulting my intelligence stupid, which is less likely to stick around on wrestle crap. But this is definitely stupid, and they need to move this Xia Li either into the jobber division or give her a different gimmick. Because it's just like, this... What am I saying? Vince doesn't give a shit. It's... Like, there's some part of Vince that never left the Golden Age, where he thinks, like, cartoon bullshit can just go on. And it's just like, oh, we never had a kung fu lady that shoots lightning. Pal, it'll do great. Everybody will be shocked by it. Like, okay.
I see what you did there.
Oh, man. It's... Oh, and here's the other thing. The main event was a 3-way tag team match, right?
Ew, that sounds nasty.
Yeah, so it was RK Bro, the Usos, who I almost forgot did not existed as anything other than the minions of Roman Reigns. And I didn't know New Day is still together, just minus Big E.
Yeah.
So yeah, New Day, but it's just Xavier and Kofi. And, okay, 3-way tag team match, right? I figure, okay, so 3 guys fight in the ring while their other 3 guys hang on the outside. No.
Just 2 guys.
Just 2 guys.
Yeah.
And one whole team has to sit on the apron.
Yeah.
And I understand that from the writer's perspective, they'll be like, okay, we can work the 3rd tag team in by them tagging the other guys when they aren't paying attention, when they go near the ropes, right? That's the idea, right?
Right.
Okay, but God forbid I suggest this with modern wrestling altogether, but in universe logic, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Why would because in universe logic, matches should logically work by the assumption people are going to play by the rules. When people break the rules, it's supposed to be a shock, not an expected part of the match, right?
Yeah.
So, like, why the fuck would anyone, like any realistic match booker, ever come up with a match that, if all the wrestlers work as they should, means the third tag team is just standing there on the apron for the entire match and never gets tagged in? Because, like, when the match starts, Michael Cole or Pat McAfee, I think Pat McAfee explicitly says from the start, well, if the other team starts a pinfall or a submission, then the third team will jump in to stop it. And it's like, sure, you can say that from the perspective of, like, the audience or the writers, but in terms of, like, people who should be observing the rules, like the booker or the commentators, then it should be like, well, yeah, the third team just has to stand there and watch as someone who is entirely separate gets pinned. Like, it's not like the triple threat or fatal four-way match where the entire idea is everyone's active at the same time, so the inherent part of the idea of the rules would be, yes, interrupt submissions and pins. But no, these guys are supposed to be tagged out. They're not supposed to be in the fucking match unless they get tagged in.
Yeah. It's the dumbest match ever, and I hate that it still goes on a semi-consistent basis.
There is no reason to tag in an enemy team.
Indeed.
It's so fucking dumb. It is entirely just a thing of, like, for one thing, entirely ignoring the concept of internal logic altogether, which wrestling's been bad about for the last 10 years, if not the last 20 years. But also, it's like already on its face, just kind of like inside baseball. Like, this is the kind of match that is only acceptable for people who have watched wrestling for years and years and already know the conventions. If this was my first time watching wrestling, I'd be going, "What the fuck is this? Why is there another? Why is there another duo that's just sitting there doing nothing? Like, what is?" And oh my god, Orton, like. You can tell Matt Riddle is the new young guy workhorse there because the entirety of the match consisted of either New Day or Usos beating his ass. So it's like, okay, we got one young guy in the match with stamina. We got four guys who are starting to get a bit older and, starting to get a little bit too old for it. And we've got Randy, who, of course, physically looks amazing. Like, Randy is in the best shape of his life somehow. He's in his 40s.
Yep.
And Randy looks better than he's ever looked visually before.
Absolutely.
But Randy is old now, and he gets gassed a lot easier than he used to.
Yeah.
So Randy needed to be covered for bad. So Randy spent the entirety of the match on the apron up until he gets the hot tag, right?
That's why he's here. I'm just here for the hot tag. Don't mind me.
Yeah, and the Usos, the Xavier and Kofi tag in and out, just taking turns, pounding ass. And then, okay, hot tag to Orton. Orton power slams one Uso. Orton power slams the other Uso. Orton goes to ringside. Orton back suplexes Xavier onto the table. The table has no give, and Xavier very clearly lands his back on Pat McAfee's tablet. Okay. Oh, Orton back suplexes Kofi onto the announcer's table. Exact same thing happens. Table has no give. Kofi very clearly hurts his back on Pat McAfee's tablet. Fucking awesome. Orton goes in. Goes to RKO one Uso. It gets countered. He goes to RKO the other Uso. Orton was already gassed by the time he just power slammed the two Usos. So he is very clearly just being thrown around by the Usos to make it look like he's throwing them around. And it's just like, oh, god damn it. Like, by all means, I get, like, Orton's getting up there where he's got to get out, right? And have him leave in a way that makes a new young guy look good. Have him leave in a way that makes Matt Riddle look good. Have him give the guy the rub, right? Get your mind out of the gutter. And, like, that's fine and all. But if you want to do the thing of, like, Randy gets the hot tag, don't have Randy go out and do, like, 6 moves all at hyper speeds if he can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, they probably should have done almost the inverse. Have Orton be out there and have Orton work slow, because we all know Orton loves working slow, especially during commercial breaks. And Orton gets his ass beat after working slow for a little bit. Orton gives Riddle the hot tag. Riddle's young and hungry for it, so Riddle comes in and pounds ass, right?
Yeah.
There we go. And Riddle looks good. And Orton gets to be like, you saved me, kid. Good work. Oh man! And there was one particular bit on commentary from Pat McAfee that bugged me, which is during the entrance he said, "Randy Orton, an icon for this generation, and it will proceed through generations." And I was like, Pat, that's accurate for Randy, but when you say it for everyone on the show, it makes Randy seem like a jobber. Oh man! All right, I can't recall anything else off the show. Actually, I'm sure there was. Oh, they're having They're still keeping up the Shinsuke and Rick Boogs versus Los Lotharios thing. And is that really just padding for time until they come up with someone else to take the title off Shinsuke?
Yeah, Shinsuke has defended the title like once in the 7 or 8 months he's had it.
Because they, like, for several weeks, they've had it just be Shinsuke and Rick Boogs versus Los Lotharios. And it has every time been 50-50 booking, and the Los Lotharios get a dirty win, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so this is building up to a title match at some point, right? Where, well, for one thing, it can't build up to a title match because neither of the Los Lotharios are taking the lead role in this. And I don't think if either of them did take the lead role, anybody would notice because the guys look so fucking similar.
I actually disagree. I think Angel Garza has been very good on his own in previous companies and down in NXT. So I feel like his cousin or whatever, Umberto, is really holding him down. But at the same time, if they weren't teaming together, they'd probably be future endeavored.
Yeah, well, of course. But, like, that's for someone who's been following that guy. I've not been following that guy. These two guys look like the same guy to me. They've got the same hairstyle, same facial hair, same fucking tights, and they're cousins.
Yeah, something or other. I forgot Umberto had a beard now.
Yeah. So I can't tell the difference between them.
Face, like, straight up.
What?
Weird.
Oh, okay.
What's up?
I just said okay.
Okay.
And my God, like, after several weeks of them being competitive and it being like, well, like, is this supposed to lead into one of them contending against Shinsuke for the title? Because, like, who gets the priority in a tag team when they're going in feuds against single guys?
That is an excellent question.
It's like in a triple threat and they break up the team.
Yeah. And they've been doing all this build-up, several weeks of matches of them against Shinsuke and Rick Boogs, and they get the dirty pin, and week after week, I was like, okay, this got to be building up to something, right? Apparently, I was wrong, because this week they just had Rick Boogs and Shinsuke come out against them for a regular tag team match. And after weeks of making them look like they're a serious threat to Rick Boogs and Shinsuke, no. Rick Boogs comes out, he suplexes one, power slams him, suplexes the other, power slams him, tags in Shinsuke. Shinsuke does the fucking soccer ball kick to one of them, pins him in like a minute and a half, maybe. What the fuck?
Tag team action for you.
Okay, so, like, did the Los Lotharios just beat them in a complete fluke 5 weeks in a row?
No, Vince just learned this week that Shinsuke is not the tag team champion. He's a singles United States champion. That threw him for a loop. He kept hearing that Shinsuke was a champion, and it's like, oh yeah, he's in tag team, right? Can't wait to break those guys up. So let's just feed him to Los Lotharios for a little while. Wait, he's not a tag champion? What the heck? Why is he even on my show? Go bury that other tag team so we can break him up.
Probably. Oh, man. At least it didn't lead to, like, the Golden Egg Championship. It's... yeah, I do think that they've already forgotten about the Tag Team Championship because the Usos are Tag Team Champions.
I couldn't even remember that. If it weren't for Roman going over on pay-per-view ago, when I think the Usos won their tag championships again, I would not have been able to tell you if it were New Day or the Usos. I just automatically assume one of those teams has got to be holding it at some point, or currently, anyway.
Yeah. They seem to be routinely forgetting that as well, because Roman is repeatedly coming out with his belt but the Usos don't with theirs.
They're not even sure if they're champions right now.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't be either. And like
They should.
they have them do all.
What they should do is the Usos should come out, like, since they are heels, they should lose the titles to the New Day again and then win it. And then after they receive the belt, they throw hissy fit, and then it's revealed that the belts are made of chocolate.
Well, that'd be awesome.
The tag team division,
that'd make it more valuable than the real belts, honestly.
More valuable in my eyes, definitely.
The tag division is just such a joke that even the belt is made of chocolate.
Hey, chocolate's no joke.
Oh,
I'd
also,
kill for some chocolate right now.
If memory serves, a couple weeks ago they had Big E come out and cream both Usos to prove that he was a threat to Roman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I thought that was stupid at the time because it's like, well, the Usos are a tag team that should probably be taken seriously. That's even dumber now that they're the champions.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's going to be worse than Cena and Orton taking on like half the fucking Raw roster by themselves. But like, at what point does Vince have to realize you can't just have the tag division be a fucking joke? Like, you can't just, like, if both tag champions are together, they should be more than a match for the world champion. Because not only is it 2-on-1, it's two people who are supposed to be great at working together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not even like this is like WWE's always been bad about it, right? Because like 30 or 40 years ago, like, who would have been tag champs in the late 80s? Destruction?
I'm not even joking.
Demolition, not Destruction. Okay. God, they're so generic. I forget their name all the time.
Yeah.
Like, at any given time where Legion of Doom existed, if it was 2-on-1, like, probably the most famous spot of Dusty Rhodes' whole career was him getting creamed by the Legion of Doom. And then putting his fucking eye out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's no wonder the tag team division is so often considered a joke. How many times over the last 10 years has there been where both tag team champions like work alongside the main event heel to go fuck up the main event face, and the main event face creams both of them and says, "Watch out, main event heel, it'll happen to you." Like, how many times?
At least every 6 months.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Like, what it should be is, okay, we've got a 3-man stable here of the main event heel with a championship and the tag team champions. These guys should be running fucking ransack over the rest of the roster so that then the faces have a justification to team up against them. But no, instead, let's just have one monster face cream all three of them. That way, 3 men look bad and 1 man looks good. Math?
Math.
Oh, God. Oh, man. The matches are good. That's always the thing. I always walk away. The matches are good. And I am surprised by, like, there is generally 1 promo a week, which is good. Which is a higher amount than I expected. Right?
Yeah.
Whoever's in charge of writing the main event stuff, he's good. The stuff that's been going on with Roman and Brock and Sami Zayn has been really good. And it helps that all 3 of those guys are doing, well, they're, for one thing, being handed better scripts than everyone else on the roster. Because whoever's in charge of the mid-card and tag team stuff can't write dialogue to save his life, and it's the most unnatural shit in the universe. But at the very least, the main event guy, whoever is in charge of writing main event guy, at least he's okay, because he's giving them good stuff. And Brock by now they're pretty well letting Brock be Brock, right? Because now Brock's just in full Minnesota yokel mode, and that's who Brock really is.
Yeah.
And it's working for Brock. Brock's making it work. Every week he comes out and plays a Minnesota yokel who's a little bit strange, and that's Brock. And they let Sammy go out and work like his annoying, almost like comedy heel gimmick, which is what Sammy has always been good at. The whole fucking reason he got hired was because he was probably like the most high-quality comedy guy on the indies.
Yeah.
Because most comedy guys on the indies were going to be losers from Chikara, but like El Generico could actually work on top of making jokes.
Yeah.
So why did they bring him in and take off the mask and have him work serious?
This is a mystery that will endure for all ages.
He may not have the mask, but he does now have the Fidel Castro cap, and he's making it work.
I like it.
And it's just fun having like the contrast of Brock has to deal with Sami Zayn, who is very much chicken shit heel, and Roman, who is very much monster heel, and seeing the contrast of the two foes that Brock has to face, I think is really fun.
Yeah.
So that's going on, and the only other thing I can recall is there was a match. There was Charlotte versus Toni Storm. Toni Storm is supposed to be the young up-and-comer who wants a shot against the champion. Charlotte's been ignoring her, but Toni Storm threw a pie in Charlotte's face last week, so it's on, bitch, right?
This means war.
And they actually did a really good... There's so often where it's like, okay, we need to set up what will inevitably be a pay-per-view match between these two. How do we continually have non-conclusions to their stuff week in, week out? And a lot of the time, the easiest way to do things is just have them go out and cut promos on each other, of course. But every now and then, like they do, well, let's have them go out and do a match on TV, and they have a fucked finish, right? And that gets to be boring after a certain level.
Yeah.
There's only so many Dusty finishes you can have. It's called the Dusty's finish because people got so sick of Dusty doing it, you know?
Yeah.
And they had a really good one, a really good way to finish it without it being a lame Dusty finish, which was Charlotte got so pissed at Toni that she dragged her out to the ring apron, set her up against the ring post, the pole of the ring post, not the turnbuckle, the ring post, and just started repeatedly kicking Toni's face and neck into it. And the ref was shouting at her, fucking stop, what the fuck? And Charlotte just ignored him and kept doing it. So eventually the ref just called it. Like, that's a refreshing way to do it. Like, don't have the heel cheat to get a disqualification or cheat to win, but have the heel just get so fucking pissed that they are just doing an obvious cheat move because they're so pissed they just want to maim the face. And the ref calls it. That's good. That makes both parties look good. Because that's an understandable way for Toni to get her ass beat. Because, like, well, that wasn't fair. She was getting her head smashed into the ring post. But it still makes...
And then she can come back a week later on Dashing.
Yeah. Well, it was the back of her head, so it's going to be... She's got a face mask on the back of her head.
Yes.
And Charlotte looks like a vicious heel who needs to be taken seriously. So it's good. It's good. Whoever is in charge of the main event men's and main event women's stuff knows what they're doing. The rest of the show, burn the fucking writers. Get rid of them. Burn their fucking contracts. Tell them to hit the road. Tell them to go back to whatever college Stephanie picked them up from, which that is supposed to be where they come from now, right?
Allegedly.
Like, put them back in the oven. They ain't done cooking yet. All right, and that's SmackDown. I believe we can call this a podcast. Ati say bye. God damn it, I got food here, motherfucker.
You gonna share?
How many times can you make that joke?
It will never stop.
Never stop, never stopping.
Bye.
Oh!